Hello, everyone. We will be working with class 36 today. This class will be working with the shoulder girdle, the hip and pelvic girdle, and the ankle and plantar girdle, so the feet as well. The main emphasis for this class today is in hip mobility, freedom of the spine, and those two working together. So, very important for those of us with some lower back pain, beginning to understand these subtle changes and finding exactly where does the sensitivity or the pain begin. And backing off of that a little bit, really understanding your own body from that perspective. So we'll be opening the hip joints. We'll be opening the shoulder joints. And we do that in a passive way. And then we move in and we integrate the work we've done with some micro engagements or a little more active shapes. And what this does is once we find and have some more space in the hips or even in the shoulders, then the brain needs time to understand that we have more space. And then it needs some time as well to be understanding how to integrate, how to bring some tone and to some structure to those places that now have some new mobility. So we'll start with legs up the wall. And one of the things that this shape does is it does start to soften the rigidity along our spines from the floor. So we will start with opening the shoulders a little bit and opening the spine. So we'll have our legs up at the wall. And as you all know, have your hips a little further away from the wall than you normally would. No lower back pressure or pain. And if you have any questions about any of these poses, don't hesitate to reach out. And then we'll start today with having our hands clasped underneath the bolster. Have your eyes closed. And allow the work to be happening in this pose. This is a passive pose. You also might be noticing some places that are engaging, slightly moving into defense mode if interlacing the fingers under the bolster is too much, then you would just loosen up the pose a little bit. So bring your awareness to the back of your torso, from the base of your pelvis all the way through to the base of the neck. Allow this pose to do the work. Once you have some sense of what you feel along the back part of the body, and in the body itself, bring your focus to freedom of movement in your breath. Feel your breath. Try not to have an agenda around it. Just feel. As you become distracted or you notice thoughts coming into your mind, continue to move back toward what you feel as physical sensations, awareness. Now separate your hands. Move the bolster out from underneath your head. So move it away from your head, behind you, and then extend the arms over your head. Your arms could go on top of this bolster or two bolsters. And it's not a problem for you to move out of this shape to find more support for yourself. Just allow your shoulders to be opening toward the floor in this first part of the shape. And then extend your elbows. And even as you allow the shoulders to be resting toward the floor, if you can find some access to what you feel in the shoulders. Now spread your fingers, stretch the skin on the palms of your hands. Move this bolster away from you, or move your hands in that direction. And feel the skin stretch along the side of your torso, on the left, and on the right. Keep working with the hands as you use them in a different way. Keep the neck open. Continue to find some access to the shoulders and have awareness in where your hands are in relationship to the shoulders. Where did they naturally go to? Then see if you can refine a little bit by having the hands in a straight line with the shoulders. Keep working with the elbow extension, hands, stretching skin on the palms, sides of the body and torso, and even toward the waist. For me, tension moves into the neck. There's no pain, it's just an awareness of a movement pattern that happens in my body. Extend through the fingertips. Feel that the shoulders, elbows, and fingertips are in the action themselves. And slowly release. Feel where the natural movement of your arms, what comes naturally. Move with that without any agenda. Now bend the knees, place your feet at the wall, and turn on one side or the other. And take your time noticing any change in blood pressure, being mindful of any dizziness that might come, and then slowly come to stand, facing your wall. And you'll have the right foot moving toward the front part of your mat in the center, and have the right heel slightly out, and then take a big step back with the left foot and have the heel slightly out as well. And you can kind of see I'm not having much or any red showing on the outside of the mat. And then the fingertips are at the wall. I'm extending this left knee, allowing my feet to be adapting. And then move the tailbone down, and the organs up. and grow taller in the spine. Keep the eyes gazing forward. See if you can keep all of the adjustments. We opened the back part of the upper back along the spine, and having the fingertips at the wall in this way, the neck and the shoulders oriented to gravity in this way, now allows that open space to be more integrated from a place of compensating in a better way. Compensating with some alignment. And some consciousness around what's felt. Now lift the back heel up, bend the front knee, and switch sides. So the left foot comes toward the middle and toward the front part of the wall, and then take a big step back with the right foot, slightly challenging to have this right heel on the floor. And you're extending this right knee, getting an understanding of what's keeping this right knee from extending fully. Is it the hip? Is it lack of movement in the ankle? For me, it's the hip. And then have the heels slightly out if you haven't already done so. And then have the organs lifting up. Grow taller with your spine. Allow the pose to work. Keep working with moving the tailbone down and growing taller. Fingertips at the wall, removing balance, removing this having to deal with the balance. So you can bring more precise, accurate work to the lower back as the tailbone moves down. And slowly lift the right knee up, then the left knee. And now we'll be moving toward sitting on the floor. So have your bolster toward the wall itself and have your feet in Baddha Konasana. Now the feet in Baddha Konasana Your heels are about 10 to 12 inches away from you. And then if there's some sensitivity to the lower back, see if you can find a place for the spine that allows the lower back to be restful without pain or difficulty. That could be moving back with the spine. And we're moving in the direction of forward folding over the legs and toward the feet. So find a position that allows for the most rest. And allow the spine to be curving. For me, I feel an opening in my lower spine here. And then from here, without lifting the torso up much, just extend this left foot forward. And you'll come to center this left heel. And it's movement from the hip itself. So you're not moving the leg. It's just this internal rotation from the hip. The spine continues to fold forward as you flex this left foot. I feel quite a lot of sensation behind the leg, so I'm going to back off to my spine a little bit so that I can flex the foot a little more. Now I'm flexing my foot and I don't have much sensation behind the leg because I've backed off of it with my spine. I'm strongly working with this foot flexion. Then with my spine passively curved forward, I walk my hands forward with my arms. And then I extend the elbows, allow the palms to be on the floor, framing my left leg. The whole shoulder girdle is parallel to the floor. And slowly bend the left knee and bring this foot back and extend the right knee. Internally rotate from the right hip. Keep the pelvis stable on the bolster as well. And then find a strong foot flexion with the minimal amount of sensation behind the leg. So I'm moving back with my spine a little bit so I can access that more. Allow my chin to move toward the center chest. And then extend the arms a little bit. I'm extending the arms and I'm finding access to my shoulders. I do feel this in my lower back, and it feels like an opening. And slowly release this right foot and bring the right foot back to meet the right. Now from here, come to your hips, bring your hips on the floor and have the feet away from you a little bit more. And then slowly fold forward. Without much effort. So you could stay on the bolster. If there's effort in having your torso moving forward, or you could be moving your torso back a little bit. Now, without lifting up the spine too much, extend the left foot forward and flex the foot again. So for me, I'm backing off a little more so I can really get some access to flexing this foot. And then take a look at your foot, at your foot flexion. And then walk your hands forward a little bit more. And even though I'm looking at my ankle, the heel is centered. I'm looking at the ankle, but I'm allowing the neck to be neutral as well as I continue to perceive the stability of my pelvis on the floor. And as things begin to soften, continue to see if I have movement forward with my hands. Now release the ankle, release the extra effort, and bring the left foot back. Pause for a moment. And then without lifting the torso, extend the right foot, center the right heel from the hip. Find the stability in the pelvis and flex the right foot. Allow what you're feeling behind the leg to help you find the position of the torso. You want to have a strong foot flexion here on the right. Then have your eyes gazing at this right ankle, softening the ears away, the shoulders away from the ears. As you feel releasing, just walk your arms forward. Find some access to the shoulders. Keep gazing at this ankle and feel, allow the pose to work. Release the foot and bring this right leg back to meet the left. Now, just forward fold over your feet and legs once again. And then either hold the ankles or the feet themselves as you bring the chest toward your feet. And slowly come back. Now slowly, casually come to stand once again. And you'll have your bolster in the front part of your mat and have your feet about a foot away from the bolster. Have the feet together. And then take a look at your bolster and slowly forward fold over the bolster. Now, you want to have your legs parallel to the wall behind you and in front of you. And you definitely want to have your hands on some support. So for me, just kind of testing a little bit. In order to have my legs parallel, I come to the top part of my feet, the base of my toes, which is perfect. That's fine. And I'm allowing my torso to be passive. And I'm also noticing that I need a little more space than 1 foot between my hands and my feet. And for me, it's arm work to keep my torso up. And then to come out of this shape, just lift the gaze up, come to your fingertips and be extending the spine. If there's some lower back sensitivity, you'll bend your knees to come to stand up. Otherwise, just be here extending the spine, looking up toward the ceiling, noticing where in the back engages as the brain begins to prepare the whole torso to stand. And slowly come to stand. And then move toward laying on your back. So your head will be on your bolster. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. And have your hands clasped underneath your bolster or moving in that direction. You're allowing the lower back to be softening toward the floor. And then allow lower back to be engaged slightly as you move your knees away from the center and your heels closer to your hips. And with the lower back moving toward the floor, knees may lift a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. So you noticing with these micro engagements and how those impact the leverage system in the pelvis. Now keep the lower back, and keep the pelvis as it is, and then you're lifting your right foot out to the side. Flex the right foot and turn your toes toward your nose. This is where the integration part of the class comes in. Keep working with a strong foot flexion, extending your knee, and keeping the pelvis stable. Allow there to be some exhaustion. Know that that exhaustion is really the beginning of you reestablishing these movements. Keep your lower back and slowly bring the right foot back to meet the left. Keep the pelvis and extend the left out to the right. Flex the left foot. Toes move toward your nose. Feel and allow the shape. Allow the shaking. And slowly release this left foot back to meet the right. Lower back, moving toward the floor a little bit more. Now, lift the right foot up toward the ceiling, not out to the side this time. Left knee will need to lift a little bit as you keep the pelvis stable and flex the right foot. And even as you have this right foot flexed, feel the left foot as well. Nothing to do with this left foot. Just feel the outside edge of this left foot. And just become aware of its role in keeping the right and keeping the pelvis stable. Now move this right foot and leg a little bit closer to the right shoulder. It's a very slight movement. And slowly release the right foot. Keep the lower back. And lift the left foot up toward the ceiling. Allow the pelvis to be stable and flex the left foot. And move this left foot a little closer to the left shoulder. Bring awareness to the right foot, the right outer edge of the right foot. Continue to work with flexing this left ankle. And slowly release this left foot back to meet the right. And then from here, slowly release your hands. Extend one leg per time on the mat. Allow the lower back to be just releasing. And then hold the sides of your mat. Hold the sides, squeeze the sides, and tear the sides. And as you tear the sides, extend the elbows. And now allow the lower back to move toward the floor. Keep all of those adjustments. Not anticipating what comes next. And slowly lift the left foot up toward the ceiling. Flex the left foot. And keep all the adjustments, squeeze and tear, flex. Integrate. Feel everything. Slowly back down with the left foot. Keep the lower back. Release the left foot and bring the right foot up toward the ceiling and flex the right foot. The right leg does not go past perpendicular. You may need to be turning internal rotation of the right hip so the toes aren't moving off to the side. You want to have the toes moving slightly in toward your nose. Keep flexing, working, squeezing, pulling. Slowly release and release the hands. Bend your knees and slowly roll to the right side and push yourself up and come back to the bolster. Sit on your bolster, the right foot in front of the left. And slowly fold forward. Coming to a restful state. Slowly push yourself up. Switch the way you have your legs crossed and forward fold once again. Slowly push yourself up. And then we're coming to lay on the back with legs up the wall once more. Come back to that position that allows there to be little to no hamstring sensation behind the legs, no pain or lower back pressure. Interlace your fingers underneath the bolster or have them on the sides of your bolster. And rest. Perceive the torso and spine all along the mat. Allow that perception to spread out to the rest of the body. If the sensation in your arms is becoming aggressive, loosen up your hands and find a shape that allows you to be really comfortable. And I would love for you to stay here for another 10 to 20 minutes. You could pause the video, or stop the video, and just enjoy. You're ready to leave the pose, just release your hands. Wait for sensation to be back to neutral. Bend the knees. Turn on your side and press yourself up. Sitting on your mat with your legs crossed, palms together. And end your practice for today. Namaste.